Rudo was born into a world that labeled him a murderer, tossed out by the sphere, abandoned by the people above, and left to rot on the ground. But what if I told you he's not the only one? While the Cleaner organization fights to protect what little hope remains for the world, there's another faction that wants to burn it all to the ground. They don't want peace, they want revenge. And they'll do whatever it takes to wipe out the sky. These are the Raiders, a ruthless group of givers who've abandoned morality, consumed by rage and chaos. Now, what's their goal? Well, it's to gather the legendary Watchman series, unlock its full power, and bring down heaven once and for all. They started out as a band of regular old thieves, but a few years ago, their crimes got to be a bit more diabolical. The strongest members are part of the front line, a section of the organization that takes orders directly from the mastermind behind the whole operation. His name is Zodyl Typhon. This is a man driven solely by revenge, just like Rudo, and he wants to gain knowledge, a mad scientist who will stop at nothing to achieve his end goal. He has hatred for spherites and heaven, just like Rudo, because of the inequality. And to be honest, he's one of those villains where you can't say he's really wrong. Chapter 54 dives deep into Zodyl's twisted ideology, and it's way too real. He breaks down how anyone with eyes can see the truth. The sphere has everything: food, clothes, technology, but they toss it all away like it's nothing, overflowing with abundance. But sometimes it's not just trash falling to the ground, it's corpses, dead species, some that the ground has never seen before. And yet, life on the ground adapted to this toxic hell. Humans became shaped by their environment, just like the animals. So Zodyl came to a terrifying conclusion. If you want to change society, you have to destroy the environment that created it. That's why he wants to wipe out the sky, to force evolution and to force equality. Now, the manga does a great job because Zodyl is basically a mirror of Rudo. They have the same eyes, the same scent, the same rage. If he found Rudo in chapter 1 instead of Engine, our MC would have become a raider instead. The only difference now is that Rudo found love and friendship, while Zodyl found hate. Zodyl was raised in a cult that worshipped the sphere's trash like divine blessings, and anyone who questioned it were killed. So just like how spherites executed Rudo without a second thought, this is why Rudo pauses when Zodyl reveals all of this, that deep down, he's kinda right. If our common sense is shaped by mad men and crazy people, then maybe the only cure is to burn it all down. We then find out later in chapter 116 that in the past, Zodyl was left homeless after a devastating war. He and his family were indoctrinated into a cult that worshipped the trash from the sphere as a gift from God. But one day, his family was sacrificed according to their so-called blessing. He couldn't do a thing to save them. Every single member of his family were killed in front of his eyes. I mean, just take a look at this panel. It does remind you of Eren Yeager seeing his mum getting eaten by Titan. It's absolutely peak and fire. However, one day, Zodyl found the legendary Watchman series coat, and just like Eren Yeager once said, if you decide to take my freedom, I won't hesitate to take yours and kill you. Well, Zodyl literally says the same thing, stating that if in this world things are taken from you no matter how hard you fight, then this time, I'll be the one doing the taking. As a result, Zodyl formed the Raiders organization and decided that he would gather every part of the Watchman series to destroy the world. His face is in complete rage and unhinged, just like Rudo, when their so-called curse of anger is active, removing their shells and their true self is released. He definitely falls into the insane category, which one must be in to properly hold the Watchmen series since it's too strong. Zodyl puts it as having left an integral piece of his humanity somewhere. And just like Rudo, there is another parallel. Zodyl doesn't like anything good going to waste. During their first conversation in chapter 49, bro straight up tells Rudo that when he gives an answer, he gives one back, and to stop avoiding the subject. The last thing he wants is for Rudo to waste his words. Zodyl is also highly intelligent. He created a artificial Watchman series, and whilst this failed, he learned that his failed experiment could be used as a core, that when given vital instruments to absorb, it's used as an offering to evolve into a giant trash beast, which he eventually attempts to use as a way to cross the seemingly indestructible barrier that separates the ground and sky during a trash storm that occurs only once every 6 years. He was also the one who set up a contract with the cleaners that another spherite like Rudo had been cargo for a merchant, when in reality this was a trap to capture Rudo via Jabba. And perhaps his biggest FU moment is when Armor was locked up by Tamsi, who has nothing to do with the Vandal, but Zodyl purposely had Jabba go back and take the Watchman series boots, and when he introduces himself to Rudo in chapter 46, he just dangles them right in front of him, knowing that it will get his attention and lead him to think they have armor. However, that's his genius out the way, but let's talk about his powers and why he is one of the strongest characters we've ever seen. This is Mishra, which Zodyl has used to create and control spiky appendages to attack enemies, as well as fly. Given that traveling to other towns takes days in a car by the admittance of the cleaners, this grants Zodyl the ability to travel long distances fast and have great versatility in combat. Each time Zodyl uses his power, he gains face markings, each representing a different one. This ties back into the origins of the coat's name, as Mishra is the Sanskrit word which can mean multiple. Zodyl is basically built different like Rudo, where he can use multiple powers. At the time, Rudo was already strong enough to tear through entire trash beasts with ease, but Zodyl completely overpowered him. Even Engine, an experienced giver and team leader, he was forced to go full defense, just trying to survive. And when Engine unleashed his signature drill attack, Zodyl dodged it like it was a joke. That's not even the craziest part. Later on, Rudo goes up against the King of Tori in No Man's Land, where these guys are literal god tier trash beasts. Rudo transforms a simple box into a giant Cerberus and one-shots the thing, swallowing it whole. And even so, Zodyl is still stronger than that. His vital instrument, Mishra, is similar to Rudo's 3R gloves from chapter 108, but instead of transforming objects, Zodyl gains powers by literally eating them. So far, he's eaten a sandwich, a bird, a cockroach, and absorbed their traits. And when you understand his backstory, it makes perfect sense. After the war, Zodyl grew up starving in a wasteland. He had no choice but to eat whatever he could find. That trauma became instinct, leading to the nature of Coat requiring him to eat different food to gain the powers. Now, if you want to learn and enjoy more peak fiction of Gachiakuta, watch this video on your screen right now regarding the cleaners, where I explain every single thing you need to know about them.